think we're watching the birth of a whole new asset class. But instead of being built for Wall Street, it's being built for YouTubers, streamers, creators who move culture. Today, I'm sitting down with Jake, the founder of Thrust, a company building the future of creator capital markets, where audiences become investors, creators become economies, and the line between a fan and a funder starts to slowly disappear. If you've ever wondered what creator coins are and what the future of this industry looks like, this is the conversation you need to hear. Jake, welcome to the podcast, brother. My first question to you is, why do creators need a capital market at all?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So it's a great question and a great first question. There's a lot to dive into in terms of, I think that creators need these capital markets just because there's a bit of consumer exhaustion at the moment, right? And really, I think there's kind of two parts here, right? There's consumer exhaustion if you're an influencer and you're trying to promote brands, and you're technically kind of risking cultural authenticity by taking brands partnerships and trying to monetize your followers' attention. And then there's the other side where you don't own any of that attention really, because platforms and intermediaries are capturing that and essentially monetizing it for themselves as well, right? So I think this is all about ownership at the end of the day, right? The creator is able to own their cultural output, and the fans are able to own their cultural participation, right? And the alignment between those two things is the actual market price overall. So really, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, knocked it straight out the park. Well, in that case, if you could pitch CCM, Creator Capital Markets, to Mr. Beast in 30 seconds, what would you say?
Ooh. Well, I think just telling Mr. Beast hey, this is the first opportunity that you've ever had to give back to your fan bases and let them capture some of the upside of all the attention that you've been capturing globally. And for the first time, you're able to give that cultural participation, ownership back to the fan base, and also in your case, own your cultural output. I think that's the pitch at the end of the day. I'm sure it could be a lot stronger, but I'm not the sales guy.
Dude, that was even faster than 30 seconds. Mr. Beast, if you're watching this, there you go. Slide into Jake's DMs.
Yeah.
But I guess to go a little bit deeper with you, Jake, what problem do you think creator capital markets are solving in the crypto space?
It's bringing, real creators into this space as well. I mean, it should be at the end of the day, right? And I think that's super important because we have this amazing, incredible asset that allows people to, or this amazing, incredible, structure and setup for people to be able to trade, a person's asset essentially, right? It's sort of publicly traded people at this point. And I think what it's really solving at the end of the day is just bringing back the ability for creators to earn. And it's super necessary in my opinion, because right now it's sort of wishy-washy, right? I think you've seen a lot of these streamers, for example, they post their earnings that they're getting paid by these major platforms. And there's a huge disconnect between, what the platforms are probably making off of these streamers and creators, and then there's never been public information about, Instagram or TikTok, but I'm sure they're making a ton of money off these creators as well.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in 2024, a little bit in 2025, but a lot less. I don't know if you've seen Whale's most recent tweet. He literally dropped a tweet today talking about creator capital markets, how he believes it's a step up from 2024, but he also highlights some setbacks that CCM still has to solve for. So I guess a good follow-up question from me to you would be, what do you think is holding back creator coins today?
Yeah, I think it's the ease of use. Right. It's very intimidating at the moment. I mean, we're going through our first launch and it's sort of intimidating as well. Right. And I think it's the lack of structure and the lack of platforms that are able to simplify this. We've seen a very good attempt by, these major launch pads at, trying to address the CCM issues. But in my mind, there's a lot of confusion, right? If you showed this to, your parents, they'd be like, what is this? And I think that's when it needs to be the minute they reacted that way, that means there's a lot of work to be done, so much work to be done. It should be very very easy to, and simple to understand. And I see crypto as more of a rail in my mind. And I think if we just build upon that rail instead of trying to educate people on exactly what crypto is and like what blockchains are and all this other stuff, we're going down a slippery slope because the majority of the population just isn't going to care to understand that, isn't going to care to put the time and effort and money testing it and exploring it. And frankly, when they do, they end up getting ripped off, right? So like, I think we need to, keep that in mind and try to build a safe environment that makes a lot of sense. And like, that's something that we're trying to do at Thrust, right?
All right, you guys are building Thrust. I saw you guys have the headline, "The Future of Creator Capital Markets," or building the future of creator capital markets, which I really like.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about Thrust? What do you believe is your competitive advantage in the market?
Right now, I mean, we're doing these curated launches, right? But I mean, the game plan here is to eventually open it up to creators to be able to launch on the platform in a safe and verified way, right? I believe that the verified part is very key in this case because at least with a lot of these other permissionless launch pads, you see a lot of friction there. You see a lot of people getting taken advantage of there. And it's a huge issue. You also see one idea get copied like 40 times and then it just causes mass confusion. And really, I think it's just coming down to platform accountability, and there's just no accountability on the platform's end. And they're just, throwing their hands in the air going, whatever happens, happens, right? And really, our Thrust's advantage in this case is that we're verifying and ensuring that there's a safe and transparent platform for these creators to launch on. And we're trying to protect anyone that's trading or buying these, the holders as well, right? Because we want to ensure that they know that we're doing all our fact checking and we're acting as the intermediary in this case, and that we are ensuring that there is some level of safety and that you can buy in and hold and not have to worry about this thing falling off a cliff tomorrow. I've been reading a lot of stuff the last couple of days. There's a lot of FUD on the timeline at the moment, and we've definitely shaken a tree. And I wanted to address some of these as well, because I think it's important for people to understand that like we're going to make mistakes along the way. We're going to try a lot of different things, and like nothing's going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect as a company. Really, no company is actually perfect, right? So I think what really matters is that, we listen to people and we understand and take the time to learn the space as well and see what we can pivot to. But I mean, there's a lot of mistakes that we perhaps made with this first launch in terms of like, at least what I've seen on the timeline is like people are calling it bundled, and, there's red flags on like Axiom and stuff saying it's like 80% bundled. But like, in reality, if you dive deeper, all these things are locked with Streamflow vesting, and, all these things were set out. If you go on Rug Check, you see that we have a good score. Like everything is kind of good to go. And I believe there was also some FUD around, past deployer launches on our deployer address. And I mean, these were just tests by the developers in this case, right? So like these are things that like no one considered, because at the same time, it's like they were clearly just tests, but I think people see them as like, these are rug pulls or something. I don't know, but we have the best intentions here. We have really good intentions, and we're here to stay in, here to learn, and here to correct all these mistakes. But I think people also need to understand that like we're new as well, right? So we're gonna make mistakes. It is what it is. But we're not rugging anyone. We're not like stealing liquidity. I think that's important as well.
I mean, something you said definitely strikes home. There's a lot of lack of trust, especially when it comes to creator coins. I mean, we've seen so many rugs. We've seen so many of them go south. It's literally gone mainstream.
Yeah.
There's literally been like some of the biggest names just come in and cash out the next day. So trust is definitely a massive factor. Can you dive a little deeper into how do we gain users' trust again after everything that's happened?
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple of things that you guys do. How do you make a user feel safe in an environment and a niche that is a lot of its participants have PTSD at this point?
Yeah. I think it's like just continually showing up and delivering, right? It's really the consistency and the and staying persistent on that. I don't know what else, right? Because like you can tell somebody, and like a lot of people have just like been like, trust me, and then they fucked everybody over, right? And time and time again, like the timeline's like, I don't trust you. The minute you say trust me, it's like a bad thing. So I mean, I think it's just showing up, delivering, ensuring that we're not going to go anywhere, and reassuring people that like what we're doing is like we're trying to better crypto as a whole. Okay, if we were scammers, this thing, Neon's coin would have dumped by now. Right. And it hasn't, right? Like we're not sitting here trying to like rug pull people. That's not our intention. Like it's just simply not a fact, right? And I think people are scared to like perhaps buy this because they're just kind of waiting. They're waiting for like the moment that this thing just tanks or something. And like that's not our goal. We're here to, work with Neon to ensure that he's delivering, and then also as a platform continue to develop all these tools and everything and a better experience as a whole so that we can better the space as a whole, right? So I think to answer your question, it's really just showing up and delivering and making sure that we don't go anywhere and do as we're going to say and keep an open mind and, listen to the community and take the feedback.
I would have to agree. The best way to gain trust in an industry that lacks it so much is just to show rather than to speak, to say it.
Yeah. As much as I want to keep saying it, and I'm trying to like shout it from the rooftops, nobody seems to be, listening, and that's fine. We'll just put our head down, keep building, and hopefully this discussion is a lot different in a couple months.
Oh yeah. Speaking about a couple of months from now, I want to speak about my last question to you. A couple of years from now, I want to project onto the 5-year goal, the 5-year vision. What does the future look like when CCM is fully realized?
I think it sort of acts as like, a creator like live index at the end of the day, right? Like we're going to be like a sort of a live market for creator coins and culture coins as a whole. I find that cool, like I think like if you can step in there, like you're, about to trade stocks and like there's a bunch of activity and like sentiments flowing left and right and based upon, these creators' actions and all this stuff and like their better alignment, like that's exciting. That's super cool to me. And I think it opens up a new market, right? And I think we need this, right? Because for the first time in history, we're able to build the CCM model and pretty much allow creators to earn off of this, but also for fans and believers to, trade based off sentiment and alignment with that creator. And that's super powerful, right? And I think we've only ever seen that through sort of these proxies like following and liking and all this other stuff. But as of right now, like we've never been able to kind of capture that value as a fan or creator. So I think it's just like a full-blown market. And, what Thrust is building is hopefully the NASDAQ of CCM.
The NASDAQ of CCM, sort of like every single creator having their own stock market, or every creator turning into a stock market.
Yeah.
I like that. Jake, as we wrap up this podcast episode, how can people find you? How can people reach out to you, message you? Plug yourself in, give yourself a shout.
Cool. Yeah. Follow me on X /Jake Anafave. Go follow, thrust.com on X as well. Visit the website, poke around, join Neon's community, and, don't jump into the FUD.
Jake, shout out to you, man. Keep building.
Thank you.
And establishing trust in the marketplace. That being said, it was a pleasure having you on, man.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.